I'm really worried about the U.S. dollar as the reserve currency of the world. We're printing lots and lots of dollars, and if we're not the reserve currency, the value of the dollar is going to collapse. We're going to have hyperinflation.
So I guess codify your ideology on Bitcoin, or you're 100% anyway, and this just sort of reaffirms everything you believe when you see these people moving here?
You know, you need this near-death experience, this mortality event, before you will open your mind to embrace a new idea. Mm-hmm. You know? And if you live in Argentina, when you talk to Argentines, they say, my family has been completely bankrupted twice in the past 30 years. Okay, so in South America, if you live in Venezuela, well, they've all been bankrupted twice in 10 to 15 years. If you live in Brazil right now, I think the interest rate's getting approaching 14%, right? Money is hard to come by. And if you live in Africa, the Africans live under the CFA, colonial franc, where they lose half their money every time they change currencies, and it's not convertible. And if you lived in Nigeria, you know, you wake up one day and the bank says you're only allowed to have $42 a day. And if you live in India, that you wake up one day, this press release that says all rupee notes of 10,000 rupees or whatever above are now illegal, and you have to turn them all in the next 48 hours, or else they're null and void, and someone just invalidates the currency. If you lived in Russia in 1998, all the banks failed, and the ruble went to zero, and everybody lost everything. So I think that that people that live in other jurisdictions, if they've ever been completely bankrupt or seen their economy completely collapse, Sri Lanka, another good example, when that happens, then when someone says, okay, well, here's a bank in cyberspace and an asset that no one can meddle with and no one can corrupt or tamper with, you think, well, tell me more about that. But if you're a wealthy American, if you're Warren Buffett, you know, we have a very famous example, a video that's going viral on Twitter. 13-year-old girl says to Warren Buffett, 8% of our assets are actually in the strong money. 2% is in the world's strongest currency in a good bank, in one of the big four banks, right? And that's about as much exposure as I want to a currency.
Mm-hmm. Mike, you're obviously a true believer when it comes to Bitcoin.
For any amount of money you want to keep the rest of your life, if you want to give it to your kids, if you want to actually retire on it, anything that's investable asset, you would put it in Bitcoin.